All right, y'all. Time for another video, man. So let's say the Department of Justice, right? Talking about this election intervention. Now, this said an Ohio U.S. Attorney Rebecca Lazocco, hopefully I'm pronouncing that name right, a Biden nominee opposed by Republicans, announced the appointment of two federal prosecutors to serve as election officers, right? So in Utah, the U.S. Attorney Trina Higgins, a Democrat donor and Biden appointee, appointed a district election officer to stop any interference or discrimination in voting and threats against election officials. I guess that seemed like to be a really huge thing. I know the administration currently they actually established like a task force, election task force. So yeah, this election threats task force. It's basically supposed to help, like I said, protect elected officials and any no suppressing any type of scrutiny or criticism of election officials. So they said, according to Attorney General Merrick Garland, the elections threat task force was launched in response to dangerous increase in violent threats against public servants, all right, who administer our elections. Election is coming up next week, so well, technically, yeah, a week and a half. So it's going to be crazy. So they said, furthermore, those 18 convictions included a case of a mentally unstable career criminal in Lyndon LaRauche supporter who allegedly shot at the residents of New Mexico. New Mexico officials and assorted threats of violence that include a woman sentenced to 30 days in jail and a man sentenced to 18 months of home detention, which did not require a special task force. So the election threats task force includes the heads of the FBI and the Department of Justice Criminal Division and the National Security Division and the Department of Homeland Security. Now that's a good deal. More resources than are needed to cope with a few threats in which no one actually got hurt. The most striking thing about the election threats task force was that, with one exception, every conviction targeted proceed. It says MAGA activists and candidates. The one exception was the Black Lives Matter activist attempt to assassinate the Democratic mayor of Louisville in Kentucky. Yeah. Pretty much they just guided protection. That's pretty much what this is for elected officials too. And the reason why I kind of want to briefly talk about this too is that, I mean, some people, not saying all, but like on social media, they thinking that, oh, it's going to be like a something civil war. It's going to go happen. I personally, in my personal opinion, my gut feeling, I think it's just going to be like, okay, people are going to talk about it with regards to the outcome if Kamala Harris wins or Donald Trump wins. People are going to talk about it for maybe a few weeks, and then they're just going to move on with the policies and go on with their lives. At the end of the day, I mean, we still got to survive. People still got to go to work. People still got to pay rent. People, So, but I think this is going to be a height of the talk. But if Donald Trump wins, I mean, hey, what can he do to improve on what he did, 4 years ago? Things of that nature. I know things took a halt in the pandemic. You look at Kamala Harris. Now she's moving up from the vice president to the president, all right, of the free world. So how she's going to improve her policies, her with the new reign with Tim Walz, what is their vision, okay? And then we're gonna hold them responsible for it, like things of that nature. So I think people surely is just gonna start adapting, but I don't think it's gonna be like, oh, gun ho, hey, let's go get the guns, let's go ahead and protect and arm ourselves. Like, some people get into the conspiracy talk and taking this crazy. But as far as the special task force, I think that's just something that very essential, especially to high elected officials. Man, I mean, they kind of determine elections too during the electoral college. But I mean, hey, I just thought this was kind of interesting here. Things are going on. They said the rapid growth of federal power has eroded the constitution balance of state power. The Justice Department has been in a crisis that does not exist to further sideline state authority and the integrity of locally controlled elections, even while claiming that it's preventing election interference if it is engaging in it. The Election Threat Task Force track record for partisan prosecution does not inspire any confidence that election intervention has any purpose other than to serve the partisan agenda of the administration calling the shots. The Department of Justice is not the solution to the election integrity. Instead, it's quickly emerging as the threat. So, yeah, this is an interesting article here, but I'm probably going to, have it here on the description box. But I just find it interesting. So yeah, just thank you guys for just listening and subscribing to the channel. There's gonna be more videos coming in here. I really love you guys, man. And like I said, stay safe. You guys voting for the election in person, which I did, which is a good thing. I'm saying, be safe as well. And then like I see the outcome. I might probably talk about it, the results next week, whatever, for election night. It's just my personal opinion. Like I said, I'm all ears for those who is an independent, like you know, Republican, Democrat. All I ask is just have a respectful attitude, and then we can have a good, respectful dialogue at the end of the day, man. So this is not a video just to go in here and start bashing or anything of that nature. No, it's just me just expressing, what I see and my personal views and things of that nature, so we can get in common ground. So, but yeah, that's all we have to say. Thank you for the support. I'm out. Deuces.